In this video, we're going to find out if you can beat every single DLC boss using lightning only, and to be more specific, using the Knight's Lightning Spear incantation. And let me tell you something, the results are going to surprise you, as this thing absolutely destroys bosses. And as an added bonus, if you stick around till the end of the video, I'm going to show you the build, the equipment, the buff routine, as well as how I come up with build ideas. And now let's jump straight into the action. I start this run fully decked and ready to go, so I decided to give myself a moderate challenge and go straight to the Blackgaol Knight. Unfortunately though, he got me on my first attempt because I tried to get close to him to hit him with the lightning spear, which gave him enough time to hit me with his fire crossbow. No worries though, as I got him on my second attempt. Since the lightning spear has moderate range, all I had to do was just enter the arena and charge the incantation and hit him with it. I got a massive 8k damage on my first hit, and honestly this fight should have been done with simply 2 hits, but he ended up healing, which forced me to hit him 2 more times. Nonetheless, I got the easy W. I honestly thought I was going to struggle with this build, but things completely improved once we went to the Demi Human. I ended up 2-shotting him with my first attack doing over 11k damage. Absolutely insane. So from here we went straight to our first major boss, the Dancing Lion. The Dancing Lion proved to be very annoying. He's super fast and moves a lot, which makes him hard to hit with the lightning. On top of that, the incantation itself takes a long time to charge, which makes it very easy to interrupt. It took me a few tries, but eventually I got him. And basically what I had to do is just jump straight into the arena, hit him with the first lightning bolt, make sure to avoid his little smoke attack, and then just absolutely tank those last 3 shots. Honestly, that wasn't the cleanest fight out there, but you know what? I'll take any win I can. So from here I decided to go and take on a Ghostflame Dragon just to get some practice with the build and my buff routine. And it was a good idea because I was still fumbling around. First of all, it's hard to find a safe distance to do your buff routine without the dragon aggroing you. And then on top of that, as soon as you're done with the buff, you gotta hit the horse and run towards him really fast. All that while your health is being drained by the blood-sucking cracked tear. And as you could tell from the footage, I actually hit the golden vow instead of throwing the incantation, which cost me a life. But luckily, with just a little more practice, I actually got him. Alright, so feeling a little bit more confident, I decided to go to Castle Ensis next so I can take care of Rellana. And to be honest, I was expecting the fight to be much more harder. I actually got her on the first try, and it only took a couple of shots. From here, it gets extremely difficult as I decided to head to the Shadow Keep to take care of Hippo, Gaius, and Messmer. The Hippo was actually not that bad. The trick to this boss fight is to hit him with the lightning spear as soon as you step into the arena and then dodge his charging bite attack. I failed on my first few tries even though I was doing massive damage with my first hit. But I ended up 2-shotting him on my third try, with the first hit doing a massive 25k plus damage. So with the Hippo down, I decided to go to the worst boss in this game, Gaius. He's fast, he's agile, and he's absolutely annoying. The lightning spear doesn't track his movement well, it doesn't cover the large distances, and it does around 4k damage per hit, which is not ideal, but sufficient enough. And I really hate his charge attack because there is no way for me to dodge it. Anyways, I ended up getting him on the second try, and I did that with the help of my mimic, and all my mimic did was just sit there and distract him enough so I could chip away at his health bar. With this fool out of the way, I decided to go to Messmer. I got Messmer on the third try with the help of my Mimic tier, so I had to distract him with the Mimic so I could get some cheap shots on him. He's very resistant to lightning, he's super fast, and I just have no clue how to dodge any of his attacks. Anyways, I couldn't be happier. I got Messmer. Moving on. The Putrescent Knight is just a very straightforward boss. He's very easy to handle. All I had to do was just change out my blood-sucking crack tier, switch it up for something else that doesn't drain my health, because we're in a big arena and by the time he reaches me, my health would be very, very low. Other than that, it just took a few shots and we took him down. Now from here, we're gonna step it up a notch and go straight to Bayle. Even though this boss fight was straightforward for me, it was absolutely chaos. There was lightning, fire all over the place, Bayle jumping and breathing stuff on me. It was just absolutely hectic. I had no idea what was going on throughout the whole fight. I believe at some point I ended up stunning him with the lightning spear, and my golem summon started banging on his head like a freaking bongo. Anyways, enjoy the fight. I got him on my first try. So from here I chose Pain and Suffering by going to Midra. Now don't get it twisted, I can easily one-shot this little guy, but when Midra goes into the second phase, it's an absolutely different story. The frenzy attack is just OP, it's crazy, the spear attack is very powerful, and once he locks on you, that's it. They just never lose focus of you. Thank God I had my golem summon to help me out in this fight a little bit. Midra is very resistant to lightning, so I was constantly chipping away at the health bar. It was a very intense fight, but eventually we got it. From here I decided to move on to the Scadutree Avatar. The Scadutree was actually a fairly trivial boss. All I had to do was just lock on its head and keep shooting the lightning spears at it. It is very weak to lightning, so every lightning spear hit does massive damage to it. The only thing I had to do was just use my simple sword with the seppuku on it in order to hit the critical hit once it falls down. Otherwise the lightning spear just doesn't do anything to it. From here we moved on to Romina. Romina was supposed to be a straightforward fight. Apparently not. She was absolutely OP. I mean, she does the 3-hit combo, she's very agile, she does the rolling attack on you, it's just crazy. I had to pull out my golem summon to help me out in this fight. Anyways, with some patience and luck, I got it done. From here we moved on to the final boss. Well, Radahn is simply Radahn. I mean, what else can I say? He is just the worst boss in this game. Besides Gaius, this guy's on a completely different level. I mean, he is very fast, he's resistant to pretty much everything. Soon as you enter the arena, he's right there in front of you, just waiting to slap you in the face. You barely have time to dodge his first attack or use your summon. It's just crazy. I mean, I'm simply not skilled enough to dodge his attacks or figure out what the hell is going on in this boss fight. Anyways, I got him on my third try, and I'm super happy about it. And there you have it, my friend. I just defeated the whole DLC using nothing but Lightning Spear. And now, as a reward for your patience, let's talk about the build. So for the stats, you got 99 faith, and honestly everything else doesn't matter. As for the equipment, I'm using 2 Gravelstone Seals, whatever sword you want with seppuku on it. You got the black dumpling head, as well as the white mask. Rakshasa's armor. You got the Lord of Blood's Exaltation, the Aged One's Exaltation, Godfrey Icon, and Phlox Canvas Talisman. And then you're going to switch those two with the red feathered branch sword and the lightning scorpion charm. Now for the flask, you got the lightning tier, and as I mentioned, the blood sucking tier. And if you find yourself struggling with your health bar depleting too fast, you can switch it up with something else, maybe for damage negation. I'm also using a frenzy flamestone so I can build up madness. And as far as the spells go, we got the Howl of Shabriri, Golden Vow, and obviously the Knight's Lightning Spear. And now let me show you the process of how I come up with build ideas. So I like to do my testing on this NPC at the entrance of Castle Ensis, just because he's very close to a site of grace, plus he has a nice chunky health bar. So I begin completely naked with just the seal and the incantation and get a base damage value. So we get 4,578 damage. And now let's try to stack in my physic and see what happens. And again, the physic has the lightning tier and the blood sucking tier. So that's 6,930. And now let's try the physic with Golden Vow and see what happens with that. So we get 7,971. And now let's introduce some bleed damage. So for that, we're going to need the white mask, the Lord of Blood talisman, as well as any sword with seppuku on it. $10,524. As you can see, a massive buff to the damage that we're dealing right now. Now on top of this, let's add the Rakshasa armor and see what happens. $11,172. And now, on top of all of this, let's stack the Phlox Talisman as well as the Godfrey Icon Talisman and see what happens. $11,484. Pretty impressive, but not there yet. So, for the final step, we're going to stack Madness on top of all of this. So we're going to need the Black Dumpling Mask, as well as the Aged One's Exaltation. And now, let me show you the full buff routine that I use in most of the boss fights in this video. Enjoy! $18,716 damage, and that is just absolutely mind-blowing. Hopefully you learned a thing or two from this video. And if you enjoyed me beating the game with the Knight's Lightning Spear, then I'm sure you will enjoy this video as I did the same thing but only using the Wave of Gold weapon skill. So watch this next.